It was just a keychain. Small, worn, and barely noticeable. The kind of thing most people wouldn't think twice about if they saw it lying on the pavement near a busy intersection. But to her, it was more than a forgotten trinket, it was something someone had lost, and that meant it mattered. She had just finished her shift at the local bookstore, a quiet corner of the city she loved, filled with stories she could never afford to live, only read. As she exited the shop, her eyes caught the glint of something metallic lying beside the curb. It was a keychain, leather-bound, cracked at the edges, with a tiny engraving that read, "To the moon and back." Hanging from it was a single silver key. She looked around. People passed by in a rush. No one seemed to notice. No one seemed to care. But she did. She picked it up gently, examined it, and felt a strange sense of sadness. It looked like the kind of keychain someone wouldn't part with easily. Maybe it belonged to someone who missed a loved one, or perhaps it was a gift from a child. Whatever the case, it had value, not in money, but in memory. And she was going to do whatever she could to return it. She posted in a few local Facebook groups, pinned a note to the lamppost where she found it, and left her number with the shop owner next door in case someone came looking. Days passed. Nothing. Then one evening, as she was walking the same route home, her phone buzzed. It was a number she didn't recognize. The voice on the other end was calm, deep, and surprisingly kind. "Hi, I heard you found a keychain. Leather. To the moon and back." "Yes," she exclaimed, relief washing over her. "I've been trying to find the owner." "Is it yours?" There was a pause. "Yes. It was a gift from my son, thank you. I didn't think I'd ever see it again." They agreed to meet at a small cafe downtown the next morning. She didn't ask for anything, no reward, no recognition. She was just happy the keychain was going home. When she arrived, she expected to see an older man, maybe a father or grandfather. Instead, a man in his late 30s approached her, dressed simply but with an air of quiet confidence. He looked tired but smiled when he saw the keychain in her hand. "That's it," he said softly, taking it from her like it was the most precious thing in the world. "I really can't thank you enough." She smiled back. "It's nothing, really. I just thought someone might miss it." He looked at her for a moment, as if trying to decide something. "Can I buy you coffee?" he asked. She hesitated. "I should probably be heading home." "Please, just 5 minutes." They sat, talked. It turned out the keychain had been a gift from his son, given on the last Father's Day before his wife passed away. Since then, he had clung to that tiny object like an anchor, something grounding him when the world got too heavy. What she didn't know, what he never expected to reveal, was that he wasn't just a regular guy. He was a CEO. One of those names that quietly ran a company worth millions, responsible for hundreds of jobs, known in business circles but virtually anonymous in public. A man who carried enormous burdens in silence, who spent his days in meetings and negotiations, and his nights reading bedtime stories to his son, trying to fill the gap left behind. And here was this woman, humble, kind, without any agenda, who gave something back to him he thought was lost forever. He didn't tell her everything that day. But something in her simplicity touched him deeply. Over the next few weeks, he found reasons to meet again. A thank you lunch, a book she might like. Her favorite author was hosting a signing, and he happened to get tickets. Each time, she was polite, slightly hesitant, and always surprised by his attention. She wasn't used to kindness from strangers. Her life had been a string of quiet struggles, paying bills, helping her younger brother through school, dreaming of going to college herself one day. She didn't pity herself, though. She believed that kindness still mattered, even in a world that often forgot it. He noticed that, more than anything, he admired it. One day, as they walked together in the park, she finally asked, "Why are you so kind to me?" "I mean, I just returned your keychain." He paused, then looked her in the eyes. "You didn't just return a keychain. You reminded me that there are still good people in the world. People who care for no reason other than it's the right thing to do. That's rare, and I think I need more of that in my life." She didn't know what to say. But she smiled. In the months that followed, their friendship grew into something more. Slowly, gently, without pressure. She learned more about him, his business, his responsibilities, his son. And he learned more about her, her dreams, her love for books, the nights she stayed up helping her brother study. One night, as they sat on a bench watching the sunset, he handed her a small box. She opened it to find a keychain, handcrafted, elegant, with the words, "To the stars and back," engraved. For you, he said. So you always remember, you're the kind of person who can change someone's life without even realizing it. Tears welled up in her eyes. Not because of the gift, but because she finally understood something she never believed before. That her goodness mattered. Their story didn't become headlines. It wasn't the subject of viral videos or news reports. But in a world hungry for real connection, it was something beautiful. A moment where kindness met gratitude, where two very different lives crossed paths, and something unexpected bloomed. He never flaunted his wealth. He didn't need to. With her, he could be just a man, a father, someone human. And with him, she found someone who saw her not as a charity case or a passing kindness, but as a woman worth knowing, loving, and building a future with. Eventually, she did go to college. Not because he offered to pay for it, he did, but she insisted on earning a scholarship. Still, he supported her every step of the way, helping her believe in herself the way no one else had. His son adored her. She treated him not like a burden or a challenge, but like a child who deserved love, attention, and stories at bedtime. Years later, when people asked how they met, they would smile and say, "It all started with a lost keychain." But deep down, they both knew it wasn't just about a keychain. It was about a moment, a small, seemingly insignificant decision to do good, that changed everything. And perhaps, that's the message for all of us. You never know what kind of impact your smallest actions can have. Returning a lost item, saying a kind word, helping someone without expecting anything in return. These are the moments that define who we are. Not by what we have, but by what we give, freely, honestly, and with heart. Because kindness, in its truest form, always finds its way back. And sometimes, it brings with it a future more beautiful than you ever imagined.